So here are the Panaracer Gravelkings. So, are they hard to fit?
Yes!
Okay.
Here we go!
But will I feel deflated with my first experience of my new tyres?
Okay, hello and welcome to Time for Bikes. My name's Darren, I'm the host here on Time for Bikes and actually the guy who does all of the work. So, I've just received this and I hope that it's going to be the one thing to get me successfully back out there with my gravel bike. I've had a few issues with going tubeless in terms of tyres and now I'm sort of giving them one last bash. I've had the Wildlife trial bike Resolute 42s on my bike, and if any of you have seen my Klein gravel build, you'll know I was pretty happy with putting them on there. They all went on really, really well. And they're nice light tyres and they do a good job. However, they just really haven't stuck up to that sort of ruggedness of the gravel trails and light mountain biking tracks that I've been going on. I've had two of them now have split on the sidewalls, and I've had about 3 or 4 separate punches that have just not sealed as well. I've also tried a different formula of sealant, so I've got like the race sealant, which is supposed to be a little bit heavier duty and actually will plug up holes a little bit better. I'm using Stan sealant and they don't seem to have done much either. So I'm going to try something else. Here is the Panaracer Gravelkings.
So Panaracer themselves formed in 1952. They have since gone on to exclusively produce bicycle tyres, so they could carefully focus on producing the finest tyres available today. The tyres which I have are the Gravelking SK tubeless tyres, and they're supposed to be one of the most aggressive types there are. Suitable for all types of road and gravel and light dirt. The size I have gone for is the 27.5 by the 1.9 inch, which works out as 1.9 inches is about 48 millimeters. So they are wide. I've bought these to help with some comfort. This frame is really stiff that they're going on, and also to help protect my Hunt rims. Now my first impression is they are well made. They feel thick, and that tyre tread, it's quite aggressive. It's definitely going to grip in some nice compacted gravelly material. So now we need to get the old tyres off the bike so we can get the new ones on. Now this is the first time I've actually had to replace a full set of tubeless tyres, so I wasn't thinking there would be any issues, but I was actually quite wrong about that. So getting the tyre off, this rear wheel's fine. However, when we get to the front one, it seems like the valve is clogged or something. I wasn't quite sure, to be honest, so I decided first things first, let's get that valve out, slowly does it, and make sure it doesn't pop out the end. However, that didn't actually happen. The tyre's still fully inflated with the valve out. Got this relatively small Allen key head. We'll try and get that in there. Oh, actually, it's just about to go. That seems to be the way to do it. Okay, so if you see here, this is exactly the culprit we had, why the tyre wasn't going down. It would seem that there's a big plug of tyre sealant that's managed to seal that whopping great hole there over time, which is obviously the valve, so hence why we couldn't get air out of it. Anyway, all solved now, it's off the rim. So I had actually bought some spare valves, so I decided to fit those, clean up the other ones and keep them for spares just in case. So the first job we need to do is just get a little bit of sealant round the valve so that it seats nicely in the rim and can seal. Now we'll be using these new valves, and later on we do have a little bit of a problem with them not sealing. However, getting the tyre on at this point is actually quite easy. I just want to line up the graphics with the valve for easy location of the valve when we're out and about if we need to get to it and add air or anything like that. So in goes the Stance race sealant. And now just to put the other side of the tyre onto the rim and carefully allow that sealant to flow into the area that's already sealed round. Now, this was tough. It took me a long time.
Go.
So finally the tyre was actually sealing on the rim. This had been really difficult. My track pump I've got is more of a sort of, I would say, a traditional track pump. It deals with very high pressure but quite a low volume of air, and really with tubeless tyres it's much better to have a track pump which can provide a high volume of air as well, and that's because it needs to blow that tyre out as best as it possibly can do onto the rim. So there are special tools and equipment you can get to help aid you with getting those tyres onto rims, but in this case I didn't have it.
Well, if I don't get on the bike today, I still would have done some exercise. This has been a pain in the butt. Now, I'm a little bit concerned because these are slightly wide by a few millimetres in my last set. They certainly look like they're filling up the forks much better than what the last set did. Now, other wheel. They fit perfect. Right, so anyone who's done this conversion or wants to know more about this conversion, watch my other videos on the Klein gravel conversion. This is the bike which I made from a standard I think it's a 2001 Klein Attitude race frame. The clearance will take a 27.5 tyre and wheel. And I've got some Mosso front forks which I got from eBay a while ago, but that's looking pretty damn good. Happy with that one, guys. So hello and welcome to Time for Bikes' review on the Panaracer Gravelkings. So first of all, where did I get these tyres from? I actually bought them from Pro Bike kit, and they cost me $29.99 each. Free postage, really good service. Yeah, can't say anything bad about the whole process of ordering these tyres in. So next of all, we're going to look at the build quality of these tyres. So first of all, I would say when you first sort of unwrap the tyre itself, you'll really feel that they're a strong, really well made tyre. They're not as flexible as some tyres are on the sidewall. They really give you that confidence that they are strong and quite well reinforced. Fitting them on the bike, while if you watch the video it looked quite difficult, I'd say this down to two reasons. First of all, I do not have the correct pump to inflate these tyres. Really you need something like an air shot, which is a particular type of it's like a storage container for air. You pump it up using your pump, and it holds it, and it can release a lot of pressure and a lot of air very, very quickly, which really helps to quickly, almost like an explosive action, to push the tyre out onto the rim. Check them out if you haven't seen them yet. They're a really useful tool to have, and it's something that I will be looking at getting myself. The other problem was my valve. Okay, with the fit, sorry. And the valve is the thing which was leaking quite a lot as well. So even if I had that air shot, it probably wouldn't have sealed up first time. So it was a very laborious process for me using basically the wrong pump. How do they ride? So this section, I'm going to look at 4 different areas which I would commonly be riding this bike on. I would say their strongest point is gravel. I'd give them on gravel a 10 out of 10. I can't see how you can get a tyre much better, to be honest. Being these are nice and wide as well, they can really sort of have that extra bit of sort of substrate to sort of dig into and grip onto. So they're really good tyres for grip on gravel. Road, I'd give them about 7 out of 10. They're not the fastest, but they're certainly not the slowest tyres of this width to be riding on the road with. I've also used these in quite rocky conditions. If you've seen the video, you'll see that it was quite rocky and wet where I was riding these tyres out on the day. I'd give them about an 8 out of 10 on that surface. Much better than I thought they'd be. I thought they'd be slipping all over the place, but they still seem to really find some purchase on that kind of that material, and it really seems to get you over it just fine. When it really fell is mud. Basically the grips just aren't long enough to dig into that substrate, and so they just basically sit on top of a slidey surface, and they just skid everywhere. It's like being in one of the worst cyclocross races I could possibly imagine for how slippy it is. On mud, and even in mud where a normal mountain bike tyre would probably sail through alright. So they do fail somewhere, which is definitely on mud. Okay, overall about 7 out of 10 for how well they ride. I've got some other comments as well. First of all, puncture resistance. So puncture resistance at about 50 psi, which I ran these at, which is quite hard, but is their maximum psi. I'm a slightly heavier rider, 80 kilos, so I always like to have it a little bit higher, because I always think if it's a bit softer, I'll end up sort of smacking the rims into the ground, and I don't really want to do that. It does mean I get a bit of a bumpy ride as well with tyres, but I'm kind of used to that. I've rode these on 2 rides now, 50 miles in total, and I've ended up getting 1 puncture in the rear tyre already. It was a flint that went into the tyre, and I thought, okay, this isn't good. However, it's sealed, and that's the first tubeless tyre I've had seal on me. So using Stan's Race sealant seems to have done the job, and the pressure in the rear tyre now is not far away from where we started originally. Now to the next bit, another comment would be the looks. For my bike, 10 out of 10. I don't think I could get a nicer looking tyre on this particular bike, so super happy with that myself. Would I recommend this product? Yes. Again, consider what you're riding on though. I would definitely recommend these as a really good quality tyre. So overall guys, I'm super happy with these tyres that I've just got. I'll certainly be using these for the rest of the year. I don't foresee them wearing out particularly quickly. There's absolutely no marks after 50 miles and a fair bit of road riding with that as well. So absolutely brilliant. Well, I just want to finish off and saying thanks ever so much for watching today. If you've liked this content, please check out some of my other videos. There's stuff on bike restoration, there's other reviews as well. We've now got Facebook and an Instagram page. What I would really like there, if you could like my video about these tyres, and also I really want some people to comment about their experiences with these tyres, because I think my review is very much about these tyres. There's different sizes, different types of Gravel Kings, so all of your comments are massively valid if you'd like to just add them in the section below for me. Like I said, if you like this content, please just like and subscribe to this channel, and also just hit the bell notifications for when you can be alerted to any future episodes. But for now, take care, happy cycling.